is so pretty. Just tricked everyone. She took the food. She took the food.
So Grant's coming out first. Right behind him is his buddy Corum. Corum is the largest of the three, I would say. And then you'll probably see Bo kind of run out from the back gate in just a moment here. If you've been here for a while, you've read the bear stories, you probably know that all the bears are here at the center because they cannot survive in the wild. Actually, all the animals here at the center can't survive in the wild. From the wolves, that means they were born in captivity. So animals born in captivity don't have the skill sets to survive in the wild. They also are too used to people. So we should really never be watching animals this closely like we are with Grant and Corum right now. And without them reacting. But animals should not want to be near us, and we should not be this close to them in the wild. Generally animals, wild animals do tend to be a little bit scared of people, or not even just scared, but they just don't want to be near us, and that's completely fine. When they are this close to us without really caring, that's never a good thing. So here comes Bo. Bo has the blondest face of all the three of them. He's also the smallest, but I find it's very hard to distinguish between size of animals. Anyways, our birds of prey are all here because they have all been injured in some way that either inhibits their flight or hunting. Two things that birds of prey really need to be good at in order to survive in the wild. And the otters were also born in captivity as well. But the bears have kind of an interesting story. They were all here because either they themselves or their mothers when they were cubs were becoming or were food conditioned animals. So when we say an animal is food conditioned, we mean they have entered into a residential area and have gotten a food reward from entering into that. So usually animals do tend to avoid these residential areas because they don't necessarily want to be near people. But if a bear enters into a campsite and gets food that was left into a tent, that kind of teaches them to come back to that area. Bears are very opportunistic, meaning they want as much food as they can get with as little energy as possible. So good natural sources, food sources for bears would be mushrooms, a berry bush, apples, apple trees, something like that. But for these guys, they've all found themselves finding food in residential areas and therefore being removed from the wild. So this is basically an alternative to euthanization for these bears. Once bears or any animal get used to enough to residential areas and they are unable to be relocated or hazed out of the area, they are typically euthanized. So Grant and Bo actually have similar stories. Bo is a 6-year-old male grizzly. He's the one on the ground right now, wrestling with Grant. He is actually from about 8 miles north of here. He was getting into trouble at Rainbow Point Campground. So if you are camping in the area, there are bears in the area. There are a lot of bears around here. Most of them aren't bothering with us in town because West Yellowstone does do a pretty great job of keeping attractants secure with bear-resistant garbage dumpsters and stuff like that. But this particular campsite was a little bit out of town, and right after COVID, when the campsite opened back up again, people were coming out here and recreating that maybe hadn't camped before, maybe they'd never been to bear country, and this was all new for them, so they weren't securing attractants properly, meaning they were leaving food in their tents, they were not using bear-resistant coolers, they were not utilizing the bear boxes that the Forest Service so nicely gives to us. And Bo was getting into all those things. The last thing that Bo actually did in the wild, he found a 6-pack of beer and drank it and then fell asleep on the hood of someone's car. So it was at that point where bear managers realized, that he was not able to survive in the wild. And he was removed. Luckily we had a spot for him here, but typically what would happen is they would be euthanized. Just one thing we ask, especially now that the wolves are howling, please don't howl back at them. They don't know what that sounds like, and if anything, it's just going to annoy other visitors, and we're going to have to ask you to stop, which is super not fun for anybody. Also, please don't, call Quorum's name or tap on the glass of the otter exhibit. These guys are having a good fun time out in their habitat. We don't want to disturb them. We want to keep them as comfortable as possible. Most likely they won't react. They're pretty used to us, but if they do react, it's usually going to be stressful away from them. And we definitely want to keep them as stress-free as possible. We want them to have a fun time when they're out here, not be worried about people bothering them. And if you guys do have any other questions, feel free to let us know. I'll be hanging out in Bear Viewing for just a little bit. Anyone in the red jackets are happy to help you if you want to learn about the wolves or the bears or the otters or where to get dinner or anything like that. We're happy to help out. So just let us know. And otherwise, enjoy watching Bo, Grant, and Quorum.
Quorum's here and Grant and Bo are fighting. Bo is the one that's going away. Yeah. So Quorum, Bo, and Grant. It's kind of funny because whoa! I got that on video. Yeah. No, Bo!
What's up? Oh, I guess that is Bo. Bo's gotta learn.
Bo and Quorum.
Yeah, they don't even realize somebody else is taking food.
Yeah. How is... Yo, Bo's actually winning right now.
Well, they're just winning. Not actually winning.
Doesn't matter. Bo's still winning.
Not to much whatsoever right now.
I know. now Bo's chasing Corum. Oh!
It's a smack attack too.
Yeah. I like how they don't even realize that Grant and the Ravens are just stealing all of their food. Corum's in the back right now, and that's Bo, and that's Grant.